This meeting is being recorded.
This is being recorded. I'm going to take this out. All right. So hear your audio now from my computer. So this is what the 40th, 41st? I forget.
I have no idea.
That's all right.
Need to enable share screen.
Oh, no, I don't hear you. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, wait, let me put these back in. Apparently my computer's angry at me. So it's always a good start. Da-da-da-da-da. There, that's better. All right, whatever. It's fine.
Go ahead and let me share the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't default to that. It feels like that's something you should be able to turn off, not have to turn on.
All right, you should be good now.
There we go.
Boom. All right, here we go. So, I don't know if you were in the chat room. I talked about one of the players reached out to me the other day and he was like, it was before Steel, and he's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, all right. And he was like, you have any advice for Steel? I was like, I don't play in Steel. And he's like, oh, you know. I said, if I was going to play Steel, I would play the gold drop. That's my advice for a long time. And he's like, oh, okay. He didn't play it. So 29-26 drop, of course. So that's annoying.
So it's funny because I was having that conversation with somebody too. It might even be the same person. I don't know. Depends. It feels like it's that way, but if you actually took that as what you do recently, you'd be doing great and still. But you see, you would have missed like 19 out of 20 cycles before the recent trend.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a recency bias, but it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I played Iron. I played Steel very briefly.
Look at this little section. It happened 4 out of 5 cycles. Yeah, and then you see they did 1 out of the next like 25.
You bastards!
Like, right when you start thinking, this is why people think that they'll see this, and then for the next year and a half, they'll never hit.
Yeah. Trends.
Yep. They're
all right, so
not trends.
So here's you mentioning that we only have so many drops to contend with now because of 29 or 20, 25 being at 29, right? It was.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're looking at easier time, I guess, picking the front 10 in theory.
Yeah, we got that right here. So compared to last cycle, when we did this one, we had 352 options, and we've got 144. That's 59% less.
All right, that's less hair pulling at least.
Yeah.
So that's good. I also don't have COVID right now, so I don't sound deathly.
So you look on, you get 112 in diamond, 136 in bronze, and 112 in jade. These two are going to get low.
Yeah. So I was like, what's the lowest ever where they were like, has there ever been like 3 options?
Yep. 24. I've seen 24 in jade.
Wow.
There was 2 front options up here and a double drop because they used to not do the 26.
They're just daring you. Go ahead, win the world title.
I won the US title that cycle.
Nice.
Because I think I had 18 wrestlers, so it's a pretty good chance. And there were so many 501s because there were so few that mine couldn't get league. I got US. It's a good constellation.
While I'm thinking of it, we had a player who asked about our thoughts on the rule, or I don't know if call the rule per se, but if we could discuss the process of if you have a tag champ with a 516 and another team has a 516, but they're blocked from winning because they don't have a score that beats the champion. And there was a push at one point to like have like flow used in league.
Yeah.
And I don't know, has this been a very common thing? I feel like in the BRL, we've had lots of times where we've had like some peak years with really good tag teams. It was really hard to win the tag belts because 3 or 4 of us were pulling 516s. What do you think about all that? What's your take?
I think it's fine as is. you know, it's somebody's going to be upset. Somebody's going to lose no matter how we go about it.
Right.
So yeah, point flow, it's about the best way you can get. It's kind of just that little secondary, you know, once you get your strat, they're not all going to still be equal. So
Right. I kept
it's
thinking,
gotta,
like, would it be the other side of the coin? Then you have people going like, well, I had a 516. You didn't beat me. You know, I mean, I know it's a frustrating thing. Not that it happens to me all that often, but like I pulled a 501 last year and got out of it. Yeah, it happens. You know, it's like, it doesn't happen often, at least not to me. But I will say, I guess if you have more wrestlers or a bigger roster, it's going to probably more likely happen to you than it will someone like myself, who
well, I
doesn't
mean,
hit
yeah,
scores anyways.
the White Claw Outlaws had back-to-back 516s and had no titles this year.
They're hacks. They're
That
hacks,
happens.
man.
Yeah. And then was it last cycle? I was the third ranked team with the 514, so I didn't get one again. Like I've
Yeah.
been two, or there was actually 2 cycles too. I was number 2, but the number 3 on flow was already TV tagged, so I couldn't beat them when we had the same. So yeah, it's a very small margin to actually win or lose.
It's again, I always say, you know, it's the reason why I like the IWAR events, because they give you something to look forward to. We just did the tube cast the other night, and one of the things I talked about was Mick Ferrari lost like all these different events he was in and had like 487, but he won the best of the best tournament match he was in. So it's like, even though he had all this crap go down, he had one little silver lining. But this show, our show, is here to help you get on the title page. And I will say personally, it's helped me. It was funny, last cycle I had a 29-26 as my first A pick, and I always give it to Atari, and it won the Elite and Metro, so yay. But I've also been doing better with the Von Schnapps as a trio. They've been doing 520 3 cycles in a row, so I haven't hit that 521 mark with them yet. I don't think I've ever hit 521. I think I hit once when they had Victor Von Schnapp as a trio, but I've never hit 521 other than one time, so I'm looking to break through.
Yeah. It's always that whole 10, isn't it?
I don't know. I feel like with my luck, I probably hit 521 and I'll be perfect. So it won't matter anyways, but that's all right. I'm getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So let's get somebody the IWAR world title, the IWA world title, right? We're pulling for these NWL guys to pull it off, because I'd love to see that happen. All right, so we're looking. This was 104. You said 144 combos to look through.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's
yeah.
not too bad.
So essentially, when you have hole 25 at a 29, you see that you lose 6 fronts out of it. The bigger thing is the back. You lose 8 out of 16 because you can just use 90, and you don't have to worry about that other 44.
Right.
So realistically, you can then, and we'll get to it at the end after we look at the fronts, but basically you can make a decision if you like the 42s or the 41s, and that'll get you down to 4, or you can lock in one of the 43s. So pretty much a coin flip either way. So there's a 50-50 chance if you have 4 backs that you'll hit one of the 4.
All right.
I prefer to try to decide between 42s or 41s because I feel like you can look a little more and make a slightly better, like a 60-40 guess.
Yep.
Compared to trying to pick a 43. To me, it's almost a 50-50 on which one's going to be right.
Right.
So
that's the tough part. But I remember one time you said to me something about if it's a 40, if 90's at 44, there's a higher odds of the weaker 43 leaping.
yes.
You still feel that way? Okay.
I've not really looked at it in a little while, so kind of like that what we just saw in Still, where 25 cycles in a row, something didn't happen, then it starts happening 3 out of 4. That can change, but relatively, depending on the sample size you look at, it's probably still true.
Okay.
Not a huge percentage. It's probably, like I said, something like 55, 45, 60, 40.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with a lot of these, like you're not getting huge advantages, but if you can find something and stay with it consistently, and it is at least 60-40,
yeah,
that means you are right more than you're wrong, and that's a win.
Small victories are still victories.
Yeah. So we'll start. The first thing I kind of looked at last time was what the rest of the cycle looks like. Still pretty filled in. You see Diamond has that 28-27, and Jade had the 27-26. And then we had 26s in bronze last cycle. So still the bottom part's pretty intact. Then we just got 2 up here, and you see each one of them is going to be 2 all the way across. So not a whole lot left there. And kind of giving your thought of how still was what we saw in gold last cycle. Let's just look at make this a little bigger. There we go. You see there's really no truth that it's going to be Diamond. Yeah, you see you actually have to go back like 20 some cycles.
Right.
Maybe it'll start happening again and it'll happen 3 of the next 4, but not a path to go down. And
don't give them ideas.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing anything that looks really worth investigating here. Like I said, we know what's been here and here, so let's just start looking at what's happened in gold, because I'm not getting much off of there.
Okay.
So we know that last cycle 29-26, cycle before 29-28.
Will it be a Yahtzee?
Likely not going to see 29-28 again.
Right.
So we'll mark that off. And that just took away 16 options. Okay. So let's look over here. I think this was, like I said, we saw it last cycle where one of the more likely to occur did actually occur.
Right.
So let's look through and see.
27s.
They're looking pretty good, actually. Let's get rid of the 26s because that's not going to happen. Yeah, you're not going to see a 26 the rest of the year, probably.
Oh, 26.
Which is good. Yeah, good with me.
Sorry, fellas.
27-26. See, it's happened after 9 cycles, 6, 4, 5.
Yep.
Could happen, could not happen. Yeah, those 27s sure do stand out. You see it took 17 cycles last time. I got some hidden cells here, but it was 17 and then 18. So yeah.
Yeah,
if you look around, the only other time something's went that long was when the 28s finally hit.
28.
Yep. So yeah, 27s look pretty good. And then the interesting thing, you kind of think of the full picture. If it's 27s, that has a minimal impact on the rest of the cycle. You would actually still have Diamond above 100 options going in.
And do you think
100
that
over here and 100 here?
How much do you let that play into your thought when it comes to like thinking of a drop you're choosing? Is that a big factor for you?
Yeah, it actually is.
I think I know it probably sounds like metagaming, if you will. But it's like, does the IWA? But like, yeah, I think it makes it harder. More players have a tougher time.
Yeah, I have no idea how they pick, but I feel like they try to keep somewhat of a balance kind of going through. So they're not like, if we look again in 2 cycles, this 144 is probably going to be 144 again. Like they keep it relatively close to all these cycle after cycle. So you don't really like the odds of 28-27 and 28-26 both disappearing over here. I would be really surprised if those 2 happen in the next 3.
Okay. And Diamond's the big one for NAL, right? That's The best
Mhm.
going on.
Yep. Starting cycle 2 or round 2. I was eliminated, but that's okay.
What?
Yeah.
You can't rig it?
No, I can run it, but I can't rig it. Actually, Seth's been doing all the work on this one.
Oh, it turns out that the team run by someone named Michael gets to advance. Aha, correct. Actually, we'll talk about BWL after the show. I'll talk about that with you. Yeah. Speaking of corruption. All right, so looking at this, we're looking at 29, 27, 28, 26, 27, 26, and 27 is our primary playable options. Now you have it over here in red. I'm just curious, like, is it red?
Oh, this is actually just from last cycle when we started crossing
okay.
out.
Okay.
So let's actually get rid of that.
I wasn't sure if you were like, oh.
Yeah, I just don't update this. This is the same thing I use every single time. So, so what did we roll out? We rolled out 26s. We rolled out 29, 28, 29, 26. I personally wouldn't take 28s anytime soon. I'm kind of the mind, unless I start seeing something like really far out, like this one right here on the 27s, I tend to just avoid the double drops. You can get in a lot worse shape by taking a double drop. Like if I'm taking 29, 26 and 28, 26 or 27, 26 or 29, 28, 29, 26 work, I'm still probably going to get one of the two and only have 125. Taking a double drop, you can quickly have both 25s on your front 10.
Not only that, I've had a fun history of when I do stuff like that, I'd also miss a 30 sometimes. You know,
oh yeah.
Get both 25s and miss both 30s. But, you know, like one of the players I was talking with was kind of lamenting that he had a lot of success early on in the game, like a lot, and has hit a long rut. And I always feel like, you know, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, like shake it up. I tell people all the time, if you run more than one wrestler, don't just use one drop. You know, if you're doing singles drafts especially, but, you know, I see people go all in on a drop, and it's like, I get it. And we've seen some situations where, you know, guys have had a lot of success with it, but it's like once out of 10 cycles. You know, like I always feel like, you know, I know like star from 490, like a 495 or above is star, and that's a good measure of success. But like LePage Turner has hit above 495, I think, all but one cycle this year, maybe even all of them. It's crazy, but he's only had one regional, you know. So that's okay. I'm in the ballpark, but you want to get that title picture, you know, you want to get in the title page. So I tell them, you know, feel free to like chime in and say, like, you know, what would you tell somebody if they had 3 wrestlers? What would your number one advice be? They're running 3 wrestlers in one league, and they're not doing a trios.
3. I like to pick more backs than fronts. That's just the way I always do it. So 3 is a weird one. I would probably say the one you like the most, do 2 backs, and then do a second front with the one back that you like the most.
Okay.
Just for a little mixture. All right. Sorry, just reading over this.
All right.
Yeah. I think we're going to put this one in green because that is one that's interesting. So I wish I had done a little more on this because I'm kind of curious. Like you see, we went 9, then we went 6, then we went 4. Kind of curious if it's trends where it will get shorter, if like this was the fluke or if this was the fluke.
Have you ever seen a hold that is like I know like 25 and 90, but outside of those, have you seen a hold that was almost, you know, or a drop, I should say, that every 6 cycles, you know, went down like clockwork?
Not to that exact I had really good success when they started abusing hold one. Because they did that in every, I mean, yeah, like it, maybe it wasn't gold as much, but some of these were kind of getting ridiculous. Like it was every other cycle and it just kept going.
All right.
But no, kind of like, I think I said it last time, but like a hold 22, I'm probably not going to drop that and just miss whenever it does once you see something go that long.
Well, I'll tell you, I lobby that the next time that way brings a hold up and they drop down one of the current set down, I want it to be like manager interference or chair shot or some kind of illegal hold. I want a cheating hold to finally get, because there are players who would tell me, "Oh, I'm a bad guy, so I use bad holds." No, don't do that.
Yeah.
No. But I like it. No. There's one player in the IWL who's so frustrating because he's been there forever. And his average strat is like a 470, 480. I've tried talking to him. I know he's not watching this, so I won't mention his name anyways, but it's like, dude, I can only do so much. Outside of me writing your strats for you, which he never took me up on, because I did that one time. And I'll write a couple strats for you, just to help you out. Because it's also like if that well ever wins, like best average, it'll be a miracle with that guy in the league. Thanks for nothing. All right, so we're looking at here.
So I wanted to look and see if there was even one example.
Okay.
4 years back, there's never been a time where 29, 28 went one cycle, 20, basically these three in a mixture over 3 cycles has not
Never
occurred.
happened. Okay. I was curious about that. That was one thing I was going to say, like, oh, we're going to get to a ballpark where like it's Yahtzee, you get all 329s.
So
will they do it?
I'd be inclined to not take that one.
Okay.
Again, just went 4 years and it's not happened. So that's one of the times I'll be wrong, because if you're wrong once every 4 years on it, you got to live with that.
Right. I like that approach.
Okay, so now we're down to kind of the larger ones that that we saw. Sometimes I'm tempted when I really like the 27-27, probably go with the ones that have a 27 in them.
Right. So like that becomes your A. Like I always think of like when I rank the holds, I'm like, oh, A, B, C, and then I give my I used to always give Gina Colada the D strength. She was literally just my wrestler in the BRL to help keep things moving. I wasn't really competitively with, now it's in the BRL. Now I have to be competitive with her. So I'm like, oh shit. I like that theory. And I always feel it too, like, if you're really like, players want to play doubles, well, if you're going to have a singles wrestler 28-27 or 27-26, again, you might get some of that avoid that 25 and, miss out.
28-26, you say it went 9 cycles, 10 cycles. I would be good not playing it for a little bit. Let's go ahead and take that one off. So that kind of, we just backed into, we found a way to justify it there, and because we like the 27s, so we found 2 ways.
Oh, that gets us down a nice 3-pack. And again, Darren's been making remarks about 27s, and
oh, has he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, one of the other players was like, talk me out of using 27s. I'm like, it's not necessarily to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, you look at the history of the drop, and looking at 28-27, we're looking at like what, every 3, like every 4th cycle. So going back to fall, so 4, 4, 4, 5, 4 again, it's due for a 4 if it went back. But I think keep in mind too, like how often does one of those things happen where it breaks trend and then goes back to it? Does that happen, or is it more like once it breaks the trend, John B's like, all right, that's that one.
I might go back further on this and see on some of these. Like I pulled a decent sample size, and I'm kind of curious. I did what 2 years worth, but yeah,
Stop
I'll
making me look up
further.
stuff.
Yeah.
Ryan in the IWL is like that, where I'll be like, has anybody ever won this title and that title? And he'll be like, and he comes back a few hours later, like, oh, here's his results. The ending in 10 minutes. All right. Well.
Oh, it's still the time. Okay. All right. We
Set
can get
timer
this pretty
up.
quick. So, yeah, we'll leave the fronts at this for now.
I gotta set
Let's
that.
go.
I'll get 8 minutes for us. So, all right. So we got this. So, so we're narrowing it down to our best choices, and then we gotta look at our back end, which again, I think the 43s, one stronger than the other.
So let's take a few minutes on the back, then we'll circle back to
Mhm.
what else we can cut out of here.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think maybe as it stands now, it's a good mix.
Okay, so 42s or 41s. So far this cycle, we've had two 42s go to 44.
Okay.
That's not that's not a dead giveaway on what's going to happen.
Right.
But looking back again, that's what we always like to do.
Mhm.
The last 2 times that's occurred, it did happen. The last 3 times,
Oh.
it happened.
Is it a trap or a trend? I gotta get a logo made up, like a graphic. Trap or trend?
Last 4 times.
It's like a
5
PTI. Wow, that convinces me. I'll go with a 42. I'm good doing that.
Yeah, just quickly the other. So then when you read down, you see, well, what happens 2 cycles in a row, 41. 42 hit the ugly cycle, an ugly cycle, a 42 hit, ugly cycle, a 42 hit. What am I? Right here's where it happened 3 in a row. So
Wow.
39 cycles ago, one went 3 in a row. I would lean towards using the 42s if I had to pick between them, and that's what we're doing. So,
all right,
I'm going to get rid of the 41s.
41s out.
Now, if you're blindly picking, 41s are better than 42s.
Right.
Because what's the worst value that a 41 can get next cycle? A 42. Right. But a 42 can get a 41. So if you're in a tournament or anything,
yeah,
it's actually not a bad idea to try to just quickly, grab those. But... Okay. So there's the back. I've got 4.
In a tournament like Who the Heck is My Cook?
Yep. So
big shootout.
He'll probably have a 42 this cycle, but I'm going to feel good about it.
All right.
So let's look at the 61s or 66.
Right.
'61 has
and
been
apologies.
relatively healthy.
Any of our players who are colorblind, we're sorry.
Oh yeah. I don't think I have it on here. It's like, well, we don't have time. I was going to show you. I have one, like each individual hold, like if it's 25A, 25B is a different color on all the strats. And that's what I used to send to IWA. And Kim emailed me back one time and asked me to stop because she couldn't read it. Like it was too much.
So, sorry, Kim.
I quit doing it.
Yeah, Johnny, if you're watching, pass along our apologies. All right, so 66, the weaker of the two, and 90s at 44. Ooh.
So I wish I had a little chart to show that, but yeah, I mean, if we just go by what we knew in the past, we'll know which one to pick. I don't know. I kind of like the weaker hold, but just feel like let's just count these 2, 4, 6, 8. No, it's 9. 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, and now it's on 7.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a chance it goes back up, but then it's going to go probably bottom out. I like the weaker hold if I had to choose between the two.
I can
But
see that.
if I take that 27, 27, I don't have to choose. I can take all 4 bets.
Okay. That's true.
No. One thing to think about too, if you're sitting in that, if you're on the title page, the 27, 27 is probably a little more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there's going to be a good amount of people that do take it because everybody loves them. And yeah, you're likely to blink if you take one and you're, somewhere in the rankings. It's going to be a little harder to win a title if that's what you're taking, and that's what hits.
All right.
So sometimes you can't go with what so many people are taking, but
yeah. Well, that's you get those cycles where there's a lot of like 498s, 497s, 500s. And those others. I always feel that I think I've said before that I'd rather have a 498 or 497 and get edged out as opposed to having a 487.
mm-hmm.
Just feel horrible when I do a bad strat. All right, so let's see. We got 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So here we go, folks.
Eliminate some 28s or 26s. And this is the point where I just like to go look at individual holds and see how they did.
Mm-hmm.
Hold 8. It's not the greatest hold, is it?
Mm-mm.
You see that it actually has a couple drops from 26 to 25. It just went down 3 in a row. Look for examples when that happened. Put back up there. Probably, I don't see anything to say eliminate that. It's going to probably drop pretty soon, according to this. It never really goes past 5 anymore.
Right. 1 minute. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Home stretch, fans. 1 minute reigns, fans.
Same thing. You probably can't really eliminate 59 either. It's kind of a similar one. If I was going to eliminate one, though, I would say 59 over, what was it? I don't know, 8.
Okay.
Just because it can go a little longer. And it's dropped 4 in a row, which is fairly rare for a hold. Like you're dropped 4 to get to 25. Be hard pressed to find one that's done that too often.
Right.
So yeah, I would say you can pick that one over. 28s. Remember last time we said they really like to take 25 from 2 cycles ago.
All right. Yeah.
Like one was a 27, so that's another indication those 27s have a good chance. The other is a 28. It's not likely that the same one will drop.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual exact same combo. So you can probably eliminate the, let's see, was that 1233? So 12. There's that one.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. So we at least eliminated one. And
1 minute left, fans. 1 minute left. Less than a minute left, actually. So
9. All right. So now we're down to 6 fronts, 24 backs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's not bad. So good luck, everybody.
That's pretty much where we'll leave it.
Well, thanks again for doing this.
No problem.
I'll buzz you back in a second so we can zoom about BWL.
All right.
Hanging
That'll
out.
work.
All right, let me finish this off. Boom.